Yes, today we're talking about CBT, that is cognitive behavior therapy, and my name is JacobGrace. Greetings, my dear wife Charlotte. Happy birthday in advance. Well, we're psychologists. This channel is all about psychology, and all I want you to have is a healthy lifestyle where you're healthy in the body but also in the mind. That is very, very, very important. Now, this is going to help scholars that are carrying on their research in maybe counseling, psychology, but also patients. If you're suffering with any psychological content, this is the place to be. Yes. Why don't we dive in? Since today we're having our first episode, why don't we dive in and we just see what psychology is all about? Many people keep on asking me what's the difference between psychology and counseling. People think it is the same thing, but maybe or maybe not. Like for us, the way we say in psychology, no answer is wrong. Every answer is actually right. Let me tell you something. Counseling is a branch of psychology. Actually, we have something called counseling psychology. So if you want to know the difference between two things that are just together, in Uganda we say "Obawetaga uniform." There is a slang that says like that, but anyway means that you have to start it over again. You discard that mind and then get a new one. So this is what we have. The challenging bit is how to differentiate counseling psychology from clinical psychology. But I'm going to demystify that. Counseling comes from a Latin word called consolare. Most students like reading it in a local language. They call it consolere, but anyway, the Latin pronunciation is consolare, which means giving counsel, advising someone or guiding. Yet, clinical comes from a Greek word called kilein. Kilein means bed, but it also shares a root word with resting, which is reclining. So you see the difference now. Now that is the origin of counseling psychology and clinical psychology. But right now, in the 21st century, a lot of things have changed. Actually, the counselors who are psychologists do the same thing like the clinical psychologists, but their fields are different. So they keep on working hand in hand, and actually part of the team, we also have psychiatrists. But it is all about you getting well. Why don't we get into the topic of the day? We are looking at CBT, that is cognitive behavior therapy. And it is not something very hard. It is something that you can have as a daily meal at home. You can be using CBT in your home without a professional. If you listen to this video and you watch it over and over again, you can treat yourself. What CBT does, it helps you change your thinking. And as a result of changing your thinking, your behavior is going to change, and the way you feel is also going to change. Now, let me tell you how the human behavior, rather the human mind is made, the psychic nature of a human being. We have what we call automatic thoughts. These ones just come. The way I'm talking to you, you're already thinking about something. The guy is dressed in a blue jacket. What is he all about? So those are automatic thoughts. Now, from there, those automatic thoughts would give you what we call intermediate thoughts. Something like, I can watch this guy. I think, negatively, I can never watch this guy. Now that is an intermediate. Now it can culminate into a core value. Now that core thought is the one that like hides under whatever you're thinking, and then you get to worry, but you don't know why you're worrying. It is because of that core thought. For instance, growing up, most of us were told not to cross the road before looking both sides. Now this one, depending on the way it was communicated, it can end up being a core value. If you saw your friend being knocked while crossing the road, you may say, I can never cross the road alone. And at the end of the day, what happens? Whenever you're forced to cross the road, you go into a panic attack. And you wonder why. Because you saw that incident happening, and it created something like a core that is pushing you every time. It is making you fear things that you don't even understand. But I want to tell you, sometimes these things are not even right. But for you just fearing, and you don't know why you fear it. You fear what you don't know. And CBT is going to help you. So let me take you through the principles of CBT. Normally it is time limited, like you see in this video. It has a time limit. It will reach a time and it will end. It is also structured. Now what we do, we normally after timing, we tell you what we're going to cover, probably the introduction, and then the activities that we're going to have, and then still part of the principles. We get to understand you, the person that we are talking to, and the problem. Like, we know your problems are specific to you, and you are the one that has the solution. Yeah, there are many other principles, but those are just examples. Why don't we get into the cognitive distortion? Because what happens, you get this thought, it enters your mind, and then it distorts you. As a result, you begin panicking, you begin sweating, you begin, like, the way you behave is in reaction to what you are thinking. Let me give you an example. I have a friend, went with her to visit another friend, and rain found us just on the doorway. Little did we know that the man of the house was inside. Now, they probably have a boundary that does not allow them to allow male visitors in when the man of the house is inside. So what did they do? They said, no, maybe allow your friend, since she's a lady, but now since for you again, please go. But it was raining outside. So guess what happened? I'm going to use this example to take you through distortion thoughts, because I got distortion thoughts. Those are the thoughts that by then made me depressed. Now I'm going to show you how I even got out of that depression. First, let us talk about arbitrary inference. Arbitrary inference is where you draw a conclusion prematurely. You just look at something and then you just say, now this is it. So from there, this is what came to my mind. I'm like, maybe these guys have not respected me. That's what I felt. That is now the automatic thought that came to me. And eventually, it came to a core value when I felt like maybe I'm worthless. But remember, it is not true. I'm full of worth. That's why you're actually listening to me and you're watching me. I have worth. But these were just thoughts going through my mind, and I want you to relate to me, because these are the things that happen to you every other day. But that problem came as a result of arbitrary influence. I just came to a conclusion prematurely without thinking. There's another one that is called magnification. You just look at something simple, like what happened. They just told me, no, this is our boundary, you're not allowed in. And then me, the way I understood it, I took it as something big. But every time rain comes and then you don't know where to stop, and then you run to some different place. I would have taken it positively if I had thought twice. So that was magnification of the problem. There is also personalization, like taking it personal. Probably they had a bad day, but I wasn't the cause of the problem. But me, I took it personal, and I'm like, no, maybe they don't like me. Maybe I have a problem. But I didn't have a problem. Maybe they are thinking I'm going to cause something wrong in the house. Why is it that I'm not allowed in? And these are the thoughts that keep on running in our mind. There is minimization. Now, what these guys did, they explained it to me. After that day, they actually called me and like, Jacob, we are so sorry, we wouldn't have done this. But because of minimization, I'm like, people are always like that. They will just tell you something even if they don't mean it. But maybe they meant it. But that was minimization that was disturbing me. And then there is also dichotomous thinking. Sometimes you're thinking, if it is not a yes, maybe it is a no. Like some child who said, I've been the last in class just because they were number 8. Position 8. And at the university we have guys that get like a B, and then they are like, no, I've failed, because they feel if they are not getting a straight A, probably they have failed. Now that is dichotomous thinking. There is a lot in the middle there. There is a lot in the middle. Now, before we finish, there are many other distorting thoughts that keep on coming to us, but we shall keep on breaking them down in other videos. But let us end this video with something called solution. Now, how do we distort these thoughts? Because they are the ones that confuse us. They are the ones that cause us depression and anxiety. So now I want to show you how you can treat yourself at home. This is so nice, because remember, no one is going to charge you for treating yourself. So you'll be at home. Number one, the simplest, is getting a journal. Get a journal, and then when you get these thoughts, feelings, just journal them down. Write how you're feeling, write how everything started, and then you will be able to know that this thought is wrong, because you cannot judge something that you don't see. Get a journal and write down how you're feeling and how it came about. Let us also talk about something called Socratic dialogue. This one, you look at your thoughts and then judge them. Is this thought right? You diagnose your thoughts and you're like, no, this thought is not right. Besides that, you can also have activity scheduling. Maybe you have something that you really love doing. You set time for it. You give more time to the things you love doing. In a way, this other activity is going to distort the other thinking, because what we do also affects the way we feel, affects the way we think, affects our moods. Now, thought record works hand in hand with journaling. Journaling, you can write down the activities that happened, the events, then thought recording. Whatever you think, put it down. Whatever you think, put it down. And at the end of the day, let us look at decision-making balance sheet. Come up with a time where you just brainstorm on the solutions to make you feel better, to make you do things better, to make you stop the things that you don't like doing, or that you like doing but they are leading you into the area that you don't want to go to. Brainstorm them. Now write them down and do a balance sheet of your decision. Now find out the disadvantages of each and every thought, and then the advantages of each and every thought. At the end of the day, you'll be able to come up with this one thought. Now when you get it, put it into practice, because now that is what has come out as the best. Try it out, but at the end of the day, you have to evaluate it and see if it leads you to the promised land. This is just step-by-step management of different conditions. It can help you in daily activities like anxiety, stress. Probably you're stressed with your loved ones. Probably you can even get stressed with your children. You're a parent, but you're stressed. You keep on beating them, but they don't change. You get stressed. Sit down, watch this video like 10 times, and then apply. Keep on coming to it. You can even download it and then use it effectively. My name is JacobGrace, the psychologist. See you in the next video. If this has been productive for you, don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment. You can ask a question. Maybe my numbers will be scrolling down there, and all will be well with you. I believe. See you in the next video.